Hey everyone, my name is Tay, and welcome back to the All Things Lifestyle podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode this week. I know I missed last week. I've been missing some weeks, but I'm trying to stay consistent. Bear with me. This is episode 10. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Okay, so today's episode, I will be talking about the show The Ultimatum on Netflix. So I was sitting here and I'm like, okay, I kind of want to talk about it. And I was like, I was going to make it like a small part of an episode, but I just wanted to talk about it. I was like, let's just unpack the whole episode. I mean, not the whole episode, but the whole season because the season's over. Hopefully, everyone listening, you have watched it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it and then listen to me talk about it. But if you know you're not going to watch it, then I mean, you can still listen to me talk about it. I mean, But yes, this is going to be a spoiler alert for The Ultimatum. So if you haven't watched it and you plan on watching it, don't listen to it. But if you're not going to watch it, you can still listen to me rant and my feedback about it. But yeah, that's going to be the main part of the episode. We're going to get into that. But in typical Tay fashion, you already know how I start off my episodes. I like to do a weekly weekend recap. I'm back at home. I spent the weekend with my mom and my sister, and for Easter, and my mom cooked. She cooked all the fixings. She had the cornbread, greens, mac and cheese. We had the fried turkey. We had some ham. What else we had? Oh, what some potato salad. We had it all. Oh, some sweet potato pies. Listen, we we ate good on Easter, and of course I left with leftovers. Of course I did. Of course. Of course I left with leftovers and not sharing. Don't ask me. Don't ask me to share. It's just certain things I don't want to share. Food I really don't like sharing at all. But yeah, but when it comes to like home cooked soul food like that, don't ask me. Don't ask. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, so we ate good. Yeah, and then it was so crazy because we go to the mall, try to find the Easter bunny. This was like the day before Easter. They were having the Easter bunny and little Easter thing, claiming they were gonna have this at the one mall. And we get there and they're like, "Oh, the Easter bunny left early." How the Easter bunny gonna leave early? Easter bunny is shady for that. Shady. I said, "Oh, how the Easter bunny gonna leave early? They ain't done. They like Easter tomorrow. I'm done." But no, you weren't done yet. They still had a whole nother, what was another hour and a half. Me and my sister was like, because we tried to get my sister's son, Tukey, we call him Tukey. Uh, he's one, and we tried to get some pictures with him, but we did end up finding a bunny. So he did take some pictures with the bunny. He was trying to get rough with the bunny. Like he was pulling on the bunny costume and Tuki was getting rough, but we got some cute photos and we did end up finding like a little Easter backdrop. It took some cute photos in the mall. It was so cute. But yeah, I was like, that's shady of the Easter bunny trying to leave early. But it was another one that stayed and came in the clutch for us. But yeah, we did that. I had a pretty, honestly, it was pretty relaxing. Like, we did that, and then Easter, like, we chilled. Like, I just laid around on the couch all day, ate, look, hold on, went to sleep, woke up, ate. I think I took another nap, woke back up again, ate another plate, and then watch what Candy and the Gang came on. That was Sunday. We watched Candy, and Karen from Housewives of Potomac, she had a special come on that Sunday. I think it's coming on for a couple of Sundays. I thought it was just the one, but I think it's going to be a couple more weeks. So I was kind of paying attention, but me and my mom was talking, so I wasn't really paying attention. It was one of those, like, it was all right. It wasn't something where I didn't want to, like, I need all my attention on the show. It was like we was talking, kind of paying attention, like I said, and I really was talking. But yeah, so did that. It was pretty relaxing. I had a very relaxing. Oh, let me say something. DMV traffic, shady. DMV traffic, no, they wrong. Okay, so I was in traffic going to my mom's house 3 hours. I ain't, I have never sat in traffic for 3 hours. The longest I have sat in traffic, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, if that. 3 hours. I was 3 hours in the car and I was only like 60 miles, 50 miles away from my apartment. I didn't even go anywhere. I was like, what in the world? It was crazy. It's like I told my mom, it's humbling. It's sitting in that traffic. Oh my gosh. I was listening to podcasts and I switched to music, back to podcasts. I didn't know what to do with myself sitting in that traffic. And then my leg was cramping. My leg was cramping. And I just wanted to stay in one spot. But it was one of those like, you go and then you stop. You go and then you stop. Just stand still traffic. And I'm like, oh no, that traffic, they real shady. Real shady. I was like, wow. So I know I learned my lesson with that, leaving early. And I had to work that morning, so I didn't want to just like not go that day. But next time, listen, I make sure I'm not going to work and leave bright and early 7 a.m. Listen, because and then it's like I don't even know if I want to leave at 7 a.m. because that's when everybody getting up going to work. Maybe 8:39. That might be the golden time. 8:30, 9 o'clock. Cause that, whoo, baby, that was crazy. Okay, enough about traffic. But yeah, that was my week and my weekend. Like during the week, last week I didn't really do anything. I just pretty much prepped for the weekend for me to go to my mom's. But yeah, I was chilling mostly, and I am not mad about it. I love a chill. I love a chill day. Okay. Okay, and then I had this like purple outfit. Listen, for Easter I had this like purple outfit. It was cute, little pants and little top from Fashion Nova. I was gonna get cute, do my hair, do my makeup, take photos, but I did not do that. Like I said, I ate, slept, ate. That's all I did. I ain't even have the energy to do my makeup or nothing. I just chilled, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. But okay, so you already know how we do on this podcast. Let's get into our question of the week. Okay, so ask the question, well, this was more so a poll. So yeah, these are more so polls for this week versus questions. I do questions and polls. Sometimes I just do polls. Sometimes I just do questions. It just depends on how I want to do it that week for the episode. So first question, first poll was, did you watch the Ultimatum? It's like a question and a poll because I did like yes and no. It's just one of those. It's both. It's both. Both. But okay, did you watch The Ultimatum on Netflix? Majority everybody said yes. Of course my answer is yes. I wouldn't be doing this episode if I didn't watch the show. Hello, duh. So yeah, majority of everyone on my story said yes. And then the next one I did was, could you be on The Ultimatum? And majority of everybody said no. And I agree. 100%. 110% agree because I cannot be on the ultimatum. So I can't sit there and see my man all in another girl's face. Like I can't, even though it's like, yeah, that's what they signed up for. But that's why I said I couldn't be on it because it's like, why is she making you laugh? Why are you interested? Why are you having fun? Why are you having a good time? Why is this happening? So that's why, yeah, I couldn't be on the show. But yeah, and then another reason why I couldn't be on the show, the whole show was why I couldn't be on the show, the whole concept, because it was, oh, you date for 2 weeks. Oh, you live with someone for 2 weeks. Oh, and then you go back to your old jank and you live with them for 2 weeks. Like, huh? It was just too much. And I felt like that was just it was a lot. And I'm like, I guess somebody if you're like really into dating, I guess. I don't know if I should say that, because me personally, I don't feel like I'm a dater. I'm not the dating type. I don't know. This is something new I just discovered about myself. That's another topic for another episode. But it's just a lot of people, a lot of energy, a lot of feelings. And I just don't know if I could deal with all that. Like, they dating people on the spot. They dating each other's boyfriends, girlfriends. And I just don't know. But like I said before, I can't sit here and watch my man go on a date with another shorty, smiling and laughing and he having a good time, dressing nice for her. No, no, no. I mean, you could dress nice, but dress nice for me. Don't dress nice for no other chick. Because I remember it was one of the girls was like, they don't never dress up for me, but to see him all dressed up for this date is like, they were getting jealous and everything. Okay, let me just go. Okay. Let me just pause because I'm about to get into it. So yeah, those are the 2 polls I did. And like I said, I do those on my Instagram every time I do a podcast episode. So yeah, I love when y'all participate in my polls and my questions. Thank you so much. I love getting y'all feedback. Thank you. Okay, so let's just get into it, because I already done started talking about it. The ultimatum. Let's just get into the show, okay? So, The Ultimatum is a show. It's I cannot remember the lady name. I remember the man's name, Nick Lachey. Is her name Carly? Is the wife named Carly? They a couple. And the same people that hosted Love is Blind is the same people that's hosting the show The Ultimatum. So basically, the couple gives, one person in the couple gives the other person an ultimatum. Basically, we going in this show, you either gonna propose to me at the end, marry me at the end, or we gonna break up and I'm gonna go with somebody else. Pretty much. I don't know how you go from that to the breakup in 4 or 5 weeks, however long it was on this show. But it happened. But I feel like for some of these couples, it was necessary. Which I'm kind of some of these couples, I'm kind of happy they come on there, because they learned a lot about each other. And you really, like, looking at these couples on here, you really learn, like, sometimes they're just, the person is not for you. Okay? Okay. I'm going to get into my favorite couple. So, all the couples were pretty, like, I don't have, like, a favorite, but I feel like my favorite out of all the couples is Shanique and Randall. Randall, he kind of irritating. One minute he want this, next minute he want that. He want different. I don't know. At the beginning, it was like, oh, she ready for this, she ready for that, but I'm not. And at the end, he proposed and they supposed to get married, but then at the reunion, they wasn't engaged no more. They took a break. It was a lot, but I would say that they're my favorite couple. And I would say my least favorite couple is, see, this is a tie. My least favorite couple is either between Madeline and Colby and Nate and Lauren. I'm going to say Madison and Colby because Nate and Lauren, they wasn't on the show long enough. I got to talk about that. They weren't on the show long enough to be their least favorite. I just didn't like what he did. Like Nate, it was so crazy. So pretty much when they were after they start dating. So they dated, they went away from their person, the couples separated, broke up, went away from their person and started dating around the other people. And at the end of the 2 weeks, I think it was, they all sat at a table and they're picking who they want to live with at this point for 2 weeks. So they date for 2 weeks, live with the new person for 2 weeks, and then go back to their old person for 2 weeks and live with them. And then at the end, they choose to marry him or not. Pretty much. So at this point, they're at the picking a person to live with the new person live with for 2 weeks. So they're sitting there and everybody's like, oh, who do you pick? Blah, blah, blah. And they're saying their sob stories and all this stuff. Nate is like, he's whispering, I think it was to Madeline. He's whispering to her like, I'm going to pick you. I'm going to pick you. And Madeline's like, what? Like, haha. And then somebody, I forgot. Oh, it was, who was it? Oh, it was Colby, right? Colby picked Lauren to be his new person to live with. And I feel like Nate was like, no. Nate, I feel like he was upset at the fact of he didn't want her living with nobody. And I feel him on that. I ain't even gonna lie. I feel him because you ain't about to just take my shorty and live with her for 2 weeks. Like that ain't happening. Like I said, again, is why I can't be on the show, because I ain't going for that. I ain't going for it. But it was funny because Nate's proposal was so awkward because the first couple, Hunter and Alexis don't play. But Hunter and Alexis, he ended up just proposing to her. They was like, Hunter, who do you pick? He was like, I'm going to marry Alexis. Like, I know what I want. And Alexis is his original partner. And he's like, I'm going to marry her. This is what I want. Blah, blah, blah. So they get proposed. Oh, super cute. She gets what she wants. Love that for sis. And then literally after he proposes, Nate's like, I don't want to show anybody up, but he gets down on one knee and proposes to the girl Lauren. And I'm like, for one, he's only proposing to her because he don't want her living with nobody. And it was just so awkward the way he did it. Everybody was just looking around like, what in the world? Like, if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it was just so awkward the way he did it. That was just that part of the show. It was so funny. So fast forward, everybody live together. They're living with their new person. And I could, like, how they just go put them with somebody, and all of these are experiments. So like Love is Blind and all this Ultimatum stuff, they're experiments. So I guess, they got to try it on somebody, and they're going to use these people. And they're living together. Everything's in peaches and cream. Now, when it comes to Jake and Ray, they not an original couple. That was a couple that got together. They chose each other. They clicked instantly. I honestly loved their connection. They clicked instantly. And I feel like Ray was like, she liked everything about Jake. Like, and I was like, and I just knew at the end, I was like, he gonna pick her. He not gonna leave with his old Jank, because his old Jank, she was just, what's her name? April was a lot. And like, I felt like Jake was like, I didn't even want to come on the show. I was dragged. And they was like, they did one of those, on the editing, they pretty much show how many times Jake said, I was dragged on the show. I didn't even want to come here. I was dragged on the show. I was dragged on the show. Like, he said so many times that he didn't want to come on there. And he pretty much like always stated how April, his original partner, she didn't like really consider his feelings for nothing. Not just for him coming on the show, but I guess just like in their relationship dynamic period. So, but his connection with Ray, like, I liked them together. I really did. And they like the whole time they was living together, they just seemed so happy and all that stuff. So yeah, they clicked instantly. And when it came to now on the new couples, Shanique and Zay, I knew Shanique wasn't gonna lie. Zay was very, I feel like, immature in a way. It's like he was the type of dude that like he did stuff, but it's like kind of like, so, or I went through this, so I should be able to act out like this. And it's like, not as a grown man. Like, you could say what you know what I'm saying, what you went through, blah, blah. You could keep telling your sob story, but that's not an excuse for your actions today. I mean, I hope I don't trigger nobody when I say that, but it's like you can't keep going off of what happened in your childhood and your teenage years for your adult life. Fast forward to when the original couples got back together and stayed together for 2 weeks. He stayed out till 8 in the morning. And Ray is like blowing his phone up. Where is you at? He not answering. He claimed his phone died. But I'm like, and then when Shanique asked him about it, he was like, well, he goes into what he went through before, like, I think in his teenage years or something. And she basically told him, like, you can't keep using that as an excuse. And he was like, he pretty much shut down and didn't want to talk about it. And it's like, and it's a lot of people that do that, but it's like, you can't use things that happened in the past, especially before your adult life. In your adult life, you can't, like, you in a relationship, you can't stay out till 8 in the morning and have your phone dead. You can't do that. I mean, if it happens, listen, no, don't let it happen. And if it happens, don't let it happen. You in a relationship. If you want to do stuff like that, be single. Feel me? So yeah, that's what I knew. So backtrack to what I was saying. I knew Shanique and Zay wouldn't click because Zay is immature. So that's why I was like, yeah. And when him and Shanique was having that conversation and he was like talking over her and wouldn't let her talk and walking out, storming out, she was like, oh yeah, no. She's looking like, like I knew they wasn't. Shanique picked Zay because he cute and he seemed fun to hang around, but like as like a serious partner, didn't really see that for him. Sorry, Zay. I liked Zay though. I like Zay, but he just, but you see he still got work to do on himself. But that's what I mean when I said I think the show highlighted things for people that, like, for the couples that, like, we just don't belong together. Like, I don't want to be with nobody else right now, but I don't want to be with you because this is not working. That's what I feel is good that came out of the show. But yeah, I did like Jake and Ray together. So I was surprised at the end. So like towards the end where they're like, oh, are you going to marry this person? Surprised that Jake didn't choose to marry April. Because I thought he was just going to stay in it. It was like, I was surprised, but not. Because I was like, Jake, he just over it. He just really seemed like he was over it. Especially when they would start living together. She went through his phone. He was pissed. He was mad. Like, she's like, I went to your phone and I saw these pictures and these videos of Ray shaking her shaking her tail on your phone. Like, she was mad. So that's why I was like, yeah, like she was mad, he was mad that she went through his phone. So yeah, I feel like after the phone situation, was like really set him off because he's like, how can I trust you? Like his whole mood, his face, everything changed. Like it was just like he was pissed. So yeah, at the end, I was shocked that he didn't choose her, but he chose himself because he pretty much on the show he walked off with Ray, but now we on a reunion, okay? So the reunion, they're making it seem like, oh, Ray and Jake, they're like, oh, they were supposed to go. Okay, sorry, I keep jumping everywhere. Focus. My mind always do this thing to like jump to different places, and I'm trying to paint the picture for you. Okay. But so Jake and Ray, after he had chose her at the end, they didn't get married, but they got he was like, here's a plane ticket for anywhere you want to go. So they were supposed to go on this trip or whatever, and then they got to a reunion. They're like, oh, we didn't go on the trip. We decided we needed to heal and all of this mumbo jumbo. So Ray was saying this. Jake was sitting there like, Zay, which is Ray's original partner, he was like, why didn't you go on the trip? He called her out. And listen, I love, like, I'm a girl's girl. Like, I'm a girl's girl. I'm always on the girl side, okay? But Ray was sitting there like she wasn't being real in that moment. And I'm like, okay, I know she didn't want to say, well, I went back to Zay. But I mean, that's what was real at the time. And Zay was like, wait, why didn't you go on a trip? Why didn't you go on a trip? And that's when it got heated. Like, he was like, oh, you ain't going on a trip because you was effing me every day. And she was like, we weren't doing it every day. But I was weak because I'm like, girl, like you didn't go on a trip because you went back to Zay, which is perfectly fine. Like nothing is wrong with that. But she tried to make it seem like, oh, we're healing and all of this. Girl, bye. You was with Zay, and that's all right. That's all right. But don't sit here and act like, oh, just focusing on myself. And no, you went back to him for a little bit, and that's what she said. She was like, when I figured out it wouldn't work, we broke up. But I'm like, girl, you could have just said that. But Zay definitely called her out. Zay was like, nah, don't get on here and cap. He was like, you capping. Don't get on here. Listen, I was all into this show. Can you tell? Can you tell I was into the show? I actually binge watched this in like 2 days. I was really into it, but yeah. And then, so Ray, she was a real like soft spoken, never really spoke her mind, but she spoke her mind at the reunion. Her and Zay was like going at it, and I'm glad that she came at him. She was yelling and everything. And not saying like you have to yell, but like you could tell them two, they needed that. You could tell because she got it all off her chest. And so I'm happy that Ray stood up for herself. And so she's like, you're not gonna, I'm gonna stand up for myself. So she stood up for herself, and I'm happy she did. Okay, I'm so happy. But yeah, okay. And then, like I said, my least favorite couple, Colby and Madeline, they ended up getting married. So at the end, when they got married, her reaction was just like so again awkward. Like it didn't look like the reaction of a happily just married woman. You know how you see photos of just married women, and you see videos of just married women, how they just get married, they just smiling, and like she was just like, and her smile wasn't like a authentic happy smile. It looked like a awkward smile, like, oh, like, okay, am I supposed to smile now? Like that's how I felt. I don't know. That's how it looked. She get on a reunion 7 months pregnant. I'm like, how she go from no, I don't want to marry you, no, I don't want to have your baby, in 5 weeks marry him and have his baby? I still personally feel like she probably grown to the idea now, of course, because she's pregnant. But I still didn't think she didn't want to marry him. But that's just my opinion because of how she was acting on the show. Like she didn't want to be with that man, but it was, you know. Cause Colby, like he would do stuff and then act like, oh, what? Let's talk about it and everything was okay. Like no. But I was so mad on the reunion that Shanique and Randall got unengaged. They had their little matching outfits on, and I was just so shocked that they wasn't engaged. But they was like they took a year apart, or was it 6 months or a year? No, they said 6 months, I think. And they took some time apart and realized they need to be together. They taking their time and all that stuff. I'm just like, can y'all get married? Thanks. Can y'all get married? Thanks. That's all I want from them too. Okay? Because they so cute. I like these dating shows that they be coming out with. Because they're really like experimental. And it's cool to see them like experiment and how things unfold. Like I said, I feel like the ultimatum, this experience was good for, like I said, for some couples that just really, like, I'm happy Jake and April, like, because you could tell they weren't compatible. I feel Ray and Zay, I'm happy and I'm not saying I'm happy they broke up. I'm just happy that because April, she found somebody else. So I'm happy that they got a chance to break up to find somebody that actually is for them. Wow, that was a lot. Let me know if you like these episodes of me talking about TV shows. I know this TV show, it was kind of popular because I've seen a lot of people talk about it. You know how you see the memes and all that. So, and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, why not just talk about it? Because I like to talk about shows with like my friends and all that stuff. So I was like, let me get on the podcast and let me talk about this show that I've been loving. Okay. I binge watched this, like I said, in like 2 days. So yeah. I was just doing laundry one day and I just turned it on. I was like, oh, let me watch this because all the girls is talking about it. So, but yes, let me know if you like these episodes because I can do more. Okay. One thing about me, I'm a Netflix and chill. I'm a Netflix and chill to death. Okay. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Come back next week and I promise to upload next week for another episode, y'all. Bye.